Did you hear that?
Yes.
Okay, just to make sure. Oh my God, my dad just came in. Hey, Dad. Oh my gosh, I did not know he was gonna come in. Okay.
Oh my God.
Hello, all. Welcome to Black Girl in the World. If you don't know me, you will. And if you do, welcome back. I'm so happy to be here making this episode for you guys because today is Family Day. This special guest is truly a career-driven character. Every time I'm on Instagram, she's always hustling and being super inspiring. When I heard she got her degree in sociology and pre-law, I was thinking to myself, wow, this girl is really going places. And being here with me today is the best kind of morning for me. My cousin has decided to join me on here to share her experiences on college life after graduating and sharing some tips for people who are new to college and people who are just trying to finish like myself. Everyone, welcome my girl, Liv. Hey, Liv, I'm so happy you're here.
Hey guys. Hey Tashika. I am so happy to be here as well. How are you doing today?
I'm pretty okay. It's rainy, but we're getting there. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. For some reason, I always enjoy this kind of weather. The rain is just calming to me and relaxing. Maybe it's because it's the weekend and I don't really have anything to do. So
Right. No, I get it completely. Like, trust me, it is okay. So, listen, I am just super excited. How did you feel like being like here before you joined this Zoom? How did you I guess feel that I wanted you to be a part of this with me?
at first I was like, oh, I've been thinking about it all week. I was like, oh, Saturday, I have a big day ahead of me. Oh my gosh, I really have to tighten up and gather my thoughts. I was a little nervous. This is my first time being on the podcast, so I was overthinking it a little bit. Then I was like, you know what, Liv, you got this. Just be yourself, just speak from your heart, and you'll be okay.
Right. Yeah, I think that's how I felt when I first got on here, just trying to be myself, just being around people that I know and that won't judge me helps a lot. So you being here, it just makes me feel more comfortable.
Yes, definitely. I could say the same for you because I was like, oh, it's Tashika, so I know that I will be. She will help me. She will help make sure that I don't be the shy girl I usually am when it comes to things like this. So I'm happy to be on this call with you.
I am too. I mean, hey, look, we've been chilling, kicking it since what, 2000?
2000, 2011, 2012, like we go way
Yes.
back. We go way back. Way back.
Way back. I've
Ever
known
since I moved from
you.
Jamaica.
Yes. And you've been my cousin ever since. We've been through some stuff,
Yes.
and
Yes.
it makes it all better. I'm just so happy. So tell us, what school did you graduate from?
I feel so proud to say this every time. I graduated from the illustrious Morgan State University
Whoop
in
whoop.
Baltimore, Maryland.
I
Yes, go
love
Bears!
that. Is that what y'all say?
Well, that's what I say. For a commuter student, I might be less cooler than the rest because I did commute and I did work a lot. So my involvement on campus might not be as valid as others.
I completely trust me. I understand. But listen, you are just as valid as the rest of them. Hello. I love it. I love to see it.
Yes, yes, yes.
So what made you attend Morgan, really?
Honestly, I resided in Baltimore since I moved here, and I applied for all HBCUs upon me applying for colleges on my senior year. And Morgan was very close to home, and I didn't really feel like leaving my parents yet. I didn't really feel like fleeing the nest, and I thought it was a good financial decision to make because I didn't know how I was going to pay for college, entering college. So I was just like, okay, me spending double the amount to be far away from my family who I just moved here with, and I'm still trying to build a new life here. It was kind of, and I had to weigh up my options to see what I really wanted, and I stuck with my gut, and I went to Morgan, and I never looked back. It was the best decision I ever made for myself, independently, um,
Aww.
to lead me down the path that I feel is right for me to go.
That's so sweet. And I love how you brought up the point of not only not wanting to leave the nest, but financially too. And I don't really think a lot of people speak on financial as much to just weigh out their options. Some people
Mhm.
just feel like, yo, I want to go to college. I want to party. I want to do this. I want to do that. And it's just like, I want to consider my parents too, you know?
Mhm.
Um,
Exactly.
yeah, some circumstances are different than others where it's like, yeah, you definitely got to leave and breathe and just figure it out for yourself. But there are a lot of times where the family situation isn't that bad.
Mhm.
Staying at home, you have your own space. You can study when you go back home. You just, you have that area, but people just want to leave.
Mhm. I also agree because I also agree with that too. I honestly wanted to live on campus when I went to Morgan. Unfortunately, because of
Mm,
financial reasons and trying to be as realistic as I can with having to pay like loans, my home wasn't always a happy home. Well, still work in progress. That's all I can say.
right, right, right.
Family dynamics, they change over a while, and sometimes it's harder to come together when it's been years of dysfunction. However, we're breaking generational curses around here, so we gonna try.
I'm so proud
But
of you.
we're gonna try to get there. But I feel like having your own space definitely makes everything easier. Just knowing that you have your own safe space, your own little area where you can debrief when you had a long day from either work or being in class all day, or just not wanting to be around anybody. It's a good thing. It's a good lifestyle to have. However, for me, because I even though I lived at home with my parents, I was never home.
Mm.
I was never home because I was always working. I was always trying to keep up with my classes. Work is either work or school, work or school, work or school. Trying to keep up with my friends and at the time significant other and all of that stuff. It was like I wanted to be everywhere at once, but it seemed realistic, but it had its negative downsides to it as well. But overall, it I would go into details, but I'm not sure where I'm going with this thought, but it did make me stronger as a
I love
person and
that.
more aware.
I really, really love that. And if you're comfortable and willing to share something, maybe like a good side, maybe a lesson learned, something that really, how should I say, straighten you up or something like that. Um, if you have an experience you're willing to share where it's just like, that was definitely something that changed my perspective on stuff, do share.
Oh my goodness. There's so many instances. I would say my most recent experience in terms of the reason why I stuck through college. I worked at this I worked at this retirement community, and I was always close with the residents because I was almost there every day. And after a while, after seeing the same faces, you build relationships with these people, and they get to know you. They want to know about your life. They see for youths being around older people, they do see genuine true, like they see a future in us, and they would not mind putting in that energy or advice or even the extra care or concern to make sure that we're staying on the right track. That's
Right,
another reason
right.
why I stuck with that job, because it was a good nurturing environment for me to be in while I was growing as a young adult. um I was always worried about where I was going to find money to pay for school for each semester. I always applied for grants and scholarships and so forth. So it was either if I didn't act on those tasks, it would be my my status as a student was always up in the air. So most times I always had to be proactive and thinking ahead when it comes to that stuff. But I got into a little bit of a conflict last year. I realized that I was not going to graduate on time. On time, when I mean on time by my standards, not anyone else's. I feel like that's something that puts a lot of pressure on college students and undergraduate students like myself to say, well, I'm supposed to graduate in 4 years and yada, 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 yada. And, it puts a lot of pressure on us
Right.
to adhere to things that aren't always necessarily realistic because life also happens. But in terms of that, my best advice is just, even if you're doing any major life decisions, just if you're doing it, just do it scared, just do it anyway, because life does sneak up on you, so you have to think ahead. In terms of this retirement community, I'm going off track, but in terms of this retirement community that I worked at, I was having some financial issues with paying for school, and I didn't know how I was going to go about it. And I was really close to one of the residents that resided at my job, and they were always concerned, always asking me how school is going. And, I always try not to, because sometimes it does get annoying when people ask you, how's school going? What are you studying? Da, 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 while you're still trying
Girl,
to figure it out.
yes.
But I had that conversation with that person, and I was telling them, well, I don't think my plans to graduate on time and to start my career might be delayed due to me not having those funds and so forth. But my optimism, I was like, no big deal. It's just a hump in life. I'm gonna figure it out. That's how I try to carry things, because I hate freaking out. I deal with anxiety, so I try my best to decrease the instances where I have panic attacks or anxiety attacks. So my rationale when it comes to like resolving issues before they get bigger, I be trying to be on it because I go crazy. But
I completely understand. Trust me, I do.
But in terms of this, I was talking to this resident. I was like, hey, yeah, so it's not going so great, and he was like, okay, da 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 da, and I just went about my day. I didn't think much about that conversation. It was a genuine conversation filled with concern and empathy, and just me just having a little small talk. And I didn't know that conversation would change my life and where I am today in terms of me being able to graduate college. So a couple of days later, I was at work and this resident came back saying they needed to talk to me. And they're like, well, how much is it for this? He asked me, so in terms of your financial issues, like, what is it that is stopping you from going forward with your courses or finishing your undergraduate? I was like, well, I owe this amount of money and I can't go forward with the program or finish my summer courses and graduate on time if I don't fulfill my financial obligations. And for example, say my tuition was $1,050, and he was like, well, can you at least afford $50? I was like, I'm not following what you're saying. And he was like, well, can you afford $50? I'm like, I'm still not following you. So he was like, I have he was like, well, good news for you, because I have a scholarship for you from a committee that he's on that grants students in need-based scholarships, and I got a check to finish my undergraduate career
Oh my
and to finish.
gosh.
And I'm choking up because I'm getting emotional about this situation again, because without that help, or just me just building that relationship, or just reaching out to people, or just giving other people the opportunity to get to know me, to even be able to assist me, is a blessing, because I grew up in a home where I was not very socially aware or capable of being as social as I am now. So in terms of building those relationships with people and networking, that is very important. Is sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know, and closed mouths don't get fed. So if you have my advice to college students is closed mouths don't get fed, period. So if you have an issue, it doesn't matter what it says on writing, If there's a will, there's a way. And as long as you weigh out your options and you figure out what you need for yourself in order to trust that process that you, or whatever process you choose to begin to get you to where you need to get to, just trust yourself, trust the process, and try to understand what your the bigger picture is. The bigger picture was, for me, was, even though I was going through hard times and I dealt with a lot of challenges I won't really speak on. Well, I'll speak on shortly. Um, in terms of undergraduate, as I said, if you're going to do it and you're scared, do it anyway, because the time that you're going to spend worrying about it is time that could be spent just doing it and just figuring it out as you go, because time waits on no man. And sometimes we can't get those opportunities that we missed when we're younger. So
Liv, that was so beautiful. And I'm so happy that you were able to have such a connection to where it's like a lot of people, like their networking, it doesn't show till, years later or never really. But
mm-hmm.
having that connection that really benefited you and to express yourself, like you said, closed mouths don't get fed. So here you are probably thinking, I'm not going to tell this old man anything, like he ain't going to help me, or I'm not going to tell this girl
Right.
anything. And it's like you expressed yourself and you were able to come out in the open. So I'm very proud of you for doing that and getting that reward. You truly deserve it, honestly.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
So, like, being at Morgan, I actually wanted to go to Morgan. I just
Yes,
for
girl.
one little semester, And, just I always admired how you went to Morgan because that's an HBCU, of course. What
Yes.
do you have an experience that you feel like, oh, you ain't gonna get this, at a PWI? Do you have an experience like that?
Oh, I have a lot of experiences. As I said, closed mouths don't get fed. And I will tell you that even though there's professors out there that you would have to physically go to and say, hey, I need this, in order for them to even help you. Most of my professors that I met at Morgan really cared truly about their students. That's one thing I can say. I felt like I had a whole, well, I won't say aunties because aunties sound a little bit old, but I had my second home, to where I know that when I come to class, even if I'm not having a good day, it's noticed. If I'm having a great day, it's still noticed. It's still acknowledged. It's still embraced, and it's always opportunities to learn. And I don't know if this is a women of color thing, but most of my professors were women of color, Black women in the Caribbean, of all other nations in the African diaspora, and having that diversity to even balance out my experiences at Morgan was I was very grateful for that. I would say, what else? And just being around, going to Morgan, it was a huge culture shock. I felt like I went to a predominantly white high school, so when I got there, I was like, wow, this is still culture shock. Yeah, I'm from Jamaica, and there's a lot of Black people in Jamaica, but I'm in America. Like I'm in Black America, and I feel great to
Right.
be a part of. I feel so great to be a part of this community, this institution. It brought me a stronger sense of pride when it comes to like learning about my history and so forth, and being able to be around or be exposed to people who are like-minded in terms of achieving the same goals as you. Because I will tell you that the people that you meet in undergraduate, in your classes, once they have the same major as you, as long as they don't drop out, you'll be seeing those same faces until you graduate. So you might as well get to know them now and not be shy about it.
Aw.
Because and in the end, it all comes together. It all comes together. I can tell you, I remember when I first started my undergraduate, I had this one professor, and she was a little bit like tougher than, like, in terms of tough, I mean stern. She was always stern and very direct and very you know, she didn't play no games. And
Right.
for some
I
reason,
feel
some students, I wanted to just bring this example up because professors, I feel like there's professors out there that are misunderstood, and it depends on how students it depends on the intentions that the student has when they get in that class. determine their behavior, their attitudes towards like achieving what they need to achieve. Some professors are mean, and for the most part, you just have to work with them and try to understand where they're coming from and own up to your responsibilities as a student. I sound like a professor myself, sound like a student handbook, trying to play by the books, but I feel like that's important to also know. I had this one professor, I watched her grow as a professor because it was her first semester at Morgan when I started. And she was more stern because she was more stern at the time. I was like, oh, this lady's so mean. She's such a bitch. And then when I realized later on in life, I'm sorry, I was
It's
really
okay.
I was really threatened by the fact that she was so stern. I mean, I was like, what's this lady's deal? Like, what's her problem? Whole time later on when I realized her intentions, yes, she was a new professor and she had to set the tone for her students to understand how, setting those boundaries. I feel like sometimes those
Right.
little gestures are misunderstood in social institutions where the tone has to be set in order for things to be for in terms of order to be like stable in the classroom or just in the institution itself. And this lady that was so mean to me on my first day, my phone rang accidentally and she called me mediocre. She was like, whoever this is, mediocre, yada, 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 turn your phone off or get out my classroom. I was like, oh, damn. I guess I'm not coming back to this girl. But
Oh, wow.
4 years later, I'm in front of her during COVID-19, pleading my last presentation of undergraduate. I made her cry. How did I make my professor cry? I don't know. I do know. How did I make my professor cry? That lady did not seem like one of the nicest person to even be in her classrooms. And then 4 years later, she's crying from the fact, tears of joy from the fact that everything she taught me and my other peers, we used it and we use it to our great advantage to even bring plans to create social change. I think this, I don't know if you guys will know that, well, have an idea of what I'm talking about. I feel like I'm all over the place, but just
No,
to
it's
show that
okay.
building those relationships and giving people chances to get to know you, also to also know that not everybody is going to be like you. So don't just write people off then and there just because they're mean. We're all grown individuals and it's our first time at life. So we're all going through changes and phases in our life that it just would be nice for people to be more compassionate towards each other in times like this, especially during COVID-19, but also giving people the opportunity to be there for you when it's needed because college is rough. And I think that's another reason why I experienced the health issues that I experienced throughout my college experience. For the past 3 years, I had a lot of stomach issues because even though I was going to school, going to work, I had a busy schedule, but I was not taking the time out to eat, taking the time out to sleep. I was always stressing, moving from point A to point B, always stressing. Like it looks like it's great on the outside, but then again, just remember to take care of yourself. It's not always the easiest thing to do, but just put yourself first. And once you put yourself first, everything else should flow after, flow in or go like flow. It should flow with that, but put yourself first before anything else because at the end of the day, you're all you have. Forget about the friends that need you right now. Don't forget about the friends that need you right now, but try to rationalize with when you need to be there for yourself and when you need to take a break. And also building relationships with people who are able to understand when those things are communicated as well. I think that's easier on your mental health as a person and as an individual to know that you have that kind of support or security to keep going throughout your life.
That is truly beautiful advice. And I definitely agree to where you were talking about certain professors and certain administrators and just people that are considered stern. No matter who it is, like you should always make sure that you have a connection. And I feel like, especially being amongst your own people, it's easier to do so.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've been in places where it's very predominantly Black, like you living in Jamaica and me living in PG County, like I've always surrounded myself with Black people. And even though that small,
Mm-hmm.
well, not small, but that experience of high school where you've, I guess, went into an area where it's like, oh, dang, this is culture shock for me. I feel like it definitely brought you back to your roots when you went to Morgan State, of feeling that comfortable as if you were in Jamaica, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think
Exactly.
I've always wanted that. I'm just like, I'm going to HBCU. Let me go to Bowie. Maybe I could go to Morgan. Maybe
Yes,
Well,
girl.
not even Howard. I don't think I would have went to Howard.
Howard, what's wrong with Howard? Like,
It's
what's the
out of
tea on Howard?
state.
I mean, that's true. That is true. But I feel like
Yeah.
even for Howard, I feel like they're so close to Maryland. There should be some, I feel like there should be some kind of program that bridges like Maryland residents to be equivalent to not have to pay out of state tuition, being that it's so close. I had just never
Yeah.
understood that. And with
I
DC being such a
agree.
small state, we don't have to fight that, sis. And we don't have to fight that because as he said, closed mouths don't get fed. Who you gotta write that letter to? Who you gotta shoot that email to? What we gotta do? Because I feel like,
um,
you know.
Nah, that's just a dream at this point. I'm just trying to get my degree. I'm already going to
Yes.
school, you know, and if anything, I would probably do graduate school at one of the HBCUs. So let's see about that.
So how has your college experience been so far?
For me, like it's always been pretty like just random because I want to get as much experience as I can from going to community college, and having that
Mm-hmm.
networking experience has always been something that I cherish the most,
Mm-hmm.
because that was definitely my point in realizing just how important financial is. Like finances is such a huge
Mm-hmm.
thing, and even though loans help, because you know you want to build your credit and you want to be able to be someone who pays their payments on time, I still felt like I'm a
Mm-hmm.
kid.
You're
I
still figuring it out, right?
Yeah, I'm still trying to
Definitely.
figure it out. I'm trying to get money back. I'm trying to figure out as like just some different opportunities I can figure out to where it has to be free, you know? And I think that would always be the first thing. You have to figure out what's free because it's out there. I remember my aunt, she's a grant writer, but you know, there's many different grants out there in this world, and she says there is money out there that is
Mm-hmm.
being wasted because people aren't taking the time out to apply. People are so quick to apply for the loans, but what about the grants, you know? And they have
Yes.
grants for everything and anything. You left-handed, you got a grant,
Yes.
you know? So just having her remind me just how important finances are, and just to check out what is free is truly amazing, because community college, y'all, they're
Mm-hmm.
making community college free. And I have been a huge advocate for community college because I've realized just how important that first 2 years are.
Mm-hmm.
It was truly like, just it's easier to attend clubs and to go to um what is it like to be in organizations and to attend events and stuff. It's much easier, and it's more comfortable to do that than, you know, going to maybe a larger school to where it's like I
Mm-hmm.
really have to show out. You already showed out the first 2 years. You're already the president of 3 clubs at community college, and it feels
Mm-hmm.
just the same, you know. So
I think I see the same thing in I think I observed the same thing in my experience at Morgan. It was a little bigger for school, but yes, it was still small classrooms and small just small groups, and you basically knew everybody kind of thing. Where it was
right,
you saw the
right.
same people all the time. It just sucks that I would advise anybody. I love the fact that you are involved in school. That's something that I always wanted to do and I never got a chance to do while I was still in school. I think that's a greater use your greater advantage of learning more about yourself. Well, for me, being that I'm a little so not socially awkward, but I'm a little antisocial. So I felt like those were opportunities that I missed out on that, you know, could have helped me to develop as a young adult and to learn about myself while learning about others. Because I feel like sometimes we learn about ourselves through others, vice versa, and we learn about others through
Right.
ourselves. Um, but community college was definitely, it's crazy because I lived down the street from a community college and I wanted to go there, but for some reason I didn't want to see all my high school friends. I wanted to avoid that so bad. I ended up going to a college where I wish I went with people who were I was more familiar with. But it pushed me to be out there more, to challenge myself to see beyond what I already know now or knew back then. So definitely.
Yeah, you made a really good choice, especially for you. You know, everyone's path to success is different.
Yes,
Um,
I
you know,
agree.
and you completed it, and I will always be super duper proud of you for, you know, just, you know, like doing things that a lot of people, I guess, just, you know, might not have in mind that they might have later years, and
Mhm.
you are on your path to success, and I love that. Is
Yes.
there any other like tips you feel like, if you saw yourself as a senior or maybe a junior or even a freshman that's thinking about college, what would you tell yourself and somebody else that is going to probably talk to you about it?
I would say be strong-minded and stay strong-minded but open-minded. In terms of, not letting other people's opinions deter you from doing what you need to do for yourself, because that's where critical thinking comes into play. I feel like that's an important skill of life in general that will, like, thinking critically will help us to like weigh out our options and to navigate easier through the things that we want for ourselves, whether it's if we should go to that party Friday night, or just how
Right.
to weigh out your options to make sure that whatever you're doing, you still enjoy yourself, you enjoy your life, you take care of yourself, but also remember what the end goal is. Never forget what the bigger picture is. Whatever the bigger picture is for you, if you're coming to college to and people come to college for different reasons. Some people come to make their parents happy. Some people come because they don't have anything else to do at home. And some people come to college to actually use their degree to be more to go further places. For me, I don't still don't know what my end goal is. I think about it every day. However, it's also important not to be hard on yourself, not to pressure yourself to, or you can set high expectations of yourself, but you also have to be disciplined enough to keep up with that. Because if you're not disciplined, I feel like that just brings in opportunity for resentment, and just that when they say self comparison is a thief of joy kind of thing, where you're like, oh, I'm not doing this, or oh, see, and comparing yourself to other people in general, saying,
Right.
oh, this person has gotten here and this person's here. Just focus on you and just focus on your path, and don't let anything deter you from doing what you need to do for yourself, and don't beat yourself up for wanting to do what needs to be done for you, because at the end of the day, as I said before, you're all you have. Well,
Aww.
at the end of the day, well, I know that other people's experiences are different. I feel like me saying you're all you have is describing the fact that I have family. Yes, you have family and so forth, but when you get out there in life and you're at your job, or you just you have to do those things for yourself as a grown adult. You're going to have to make sure that you take care of yourself and trust yourself to get through all those great things you want to accomplish in the future.
That, yes. Everything you said, yes. Those are some really good pointers, and I wish that more people would have uh, shared that with me. You know, it was
Yeah.
either from one extreme to the next. It was either like, bro, like just go to college, whatever the case may be, just go get your degree. or it was one of those things that was like, don't go to college. College is horrible. I hate college.
Yeah.
Don't want to go back there again. And I definitely wish that I had a mentor um, like you to just sit me down and say, hey, look, man, don't stress yourself out and force yourself to come out in 4 years if you know that that's not possible anymore. Don't beat yourself up
Yes.
for that,
Because
you
life
know?
happens, life happens. And it's a matter of, when you're strong willed, just like, I want to stick to the plan because this is a plan, this is a plan. Sometimes that is not always helpful. I feel like it's like, okay, I know what the plan is, but something happened. Now we're going to have to see how we're going to get to the point where we need to get to. We might have to switch a little things up, but, also accepting
Right.
change. Being able to accept change is another thing that I would say is important to do, because
Right.
not being able to accept change makes everything harder. When I mean everything harder in terms of like making decisions for yourself or just knowing what you really want out of life.
Yeah, I agree. Change is good. I feel like we should all start being more open to changes, regardless if you're going to school or not. The plan might not always work out. And I feel like we should always set up some different plans to say, hey, if
Mhm.
this doesn't work out, this happens. I feel like some of us come to college or even before and say, I'm only applying to this school because this is my dream school,
Mhm.
and it doesn't work out that way all the time. So we should be open to more opportunities to say, if this doesn't work out, maybe I can go to this school because they have this, instead of just applying to one school and saying, regardless if they give me scholarships or not, I'm still attending, like all my friends are over there, whatever it is. I
Mhm.
think that we should start paying attention more to other opportunities and to be open to change. You might not get that grant, and that's okay.
Mhm. And if you don't, just keep finding more. Just keep finding more. You never know. You never
Right.
know.
Right. Exactly. Liv, I'm so happy that you are here with me today.
Me too.
Truly.
I'm happy to be here with you too, and I'm glad this conversation went great. I love that. I love that. I love that.
Yes, queen. Yes. So if you have any Instagrams that you want them to follow you on, Twitter, whatever you want, just share it with them and we'll be out.
Okay. Do I want y'all to follow me on Instagram? Yes, because I want to interact and talk to all you lovely people, of course, and get to, do all those good things. If you would like to follow me on Instagram, you can follow me at livam.am_, which is liv.amb_ at Instagram. On Twitter, I don't really say much on Twitter. I'm kind of a little chill pill, so I'm chilling right now. I'm chilling. It's too crazy on there. But yes.
Yes, yes. All right. So thank you again for coming on here and sharing your experience. You are such a beautiful individual and I love you so much.
You too. I love you too, gorgeous. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast this morning. It was a pleasure speaking to you on behalf of, just speaking to you in general and just talking about just all the things that I learned through my college experience, which I never really spoke on. So it's good to see where my thoughts are at. And just the opportunity to also reflect as well. So thank you for that.
Of course. And just thank you for sharing and just elaborating on some things, personal, college experiences. It feels really good to be able to talk to somebody about this. So thank you.
Yes, love.
All right, y'all, download this episode and share it with the people that you care about. And we will see you on the next episode. Bye.
Alrighty. Bye, guys. Bye.